Alright, so now when you're prepping your feathers, your teal and your wood duck, you're going to decide where you're going to take it from. Where on the feather. And in this case, I'm going to take it from this upper part right here. So we're going to use our scissors and cut. Well, first we'll pull away this other side. We're not going to use that. And then we'll just cut right here. And we're going to keep and use about that. And then we'll pick the same amount on the opposite side, opposite feather. And we'll do the same thing, snip away what we're not going to use, or at least what we're not going to use on this fly. And then once again, we'll come into here, pick our strip. It's a little thicker than the other side, I think, but we can change that here momentarily. Same thing with the wood duck. We'll come into the wood duck feather and right down here we'll clip that away. And then the barred part that we're going to use is up here. So we strip away all of the other side here. And the barred part here. We'll clip out a nice section of it. And we'll do the same with the other feather. Figure out about what we're going to use. Clip that out. That's definitely way too much, but we can thin that out. Okay, so for this side, we're going to use the wood duck feather that has the angle matching the tail. Alright, so the left side will be the near side. I'm going to make this just a little bit thinner of a strip. And now what we can do is hold this stem here, and the more we rotate this stem right here, the more it changes the angle over here. The more we spin this over here like this, the more this angle changes. And that's what we're going to use to put on the side of the fly. And now when we marry our teal to it, the teal is the same. In teal we're going to be using the slip you took from the left side of the rackus for the near side. Now I like to put the teal below the wood duck. You can put it above the wood duck if you like, however you choose. That's perfectly up to you. I like it to look somewhat like this. And then when we tie it in, we just change the angle of it a little bit here. And we'll lay it on there, and I like to just throw one wrap on there just to see how it's going to fit. And that's a pretty hardy slab of wood duck and teal. And I think that teal can thin out a bit. Possibly even the wood duck a little more as well. Don't need to have huge slabs of duck on there. Though they don't specify in the books how much to put, so that is up to the tyer's discretion. And I do think that you know, you can doctor that however you like and interpret it the way you want. It's kind of the beauty of it. Though I think there is a core certain way of doing it. Like now. Okay, so now we've got our teal and our wood duck. We'll lay those up on the side. Give it just one rat to hold it in place. Okay, easy. And just use our needle to kind of fiddle it into place. And that's effectively how you get your sides onto your fly. So now we'll flip and we'll go to the opposite side. And we'll back up so you can see this. Here. Now we're using the opposite slip. I am going to alter these a little bit since I thinned the other ones out. I'll thin these ones out as well. And again, we'll take the wood duck. We're going to take it and just change the angle on the end by rotating this. You see that? And you're sliding these pieces, and as you slide them, you can change that angle. Let's get our teal. And you take the teal and just marry it to the underside of the wood duck. And just line them up, just like you would with the turkey or anything else. And then just kind of work them into place, and they should go right together for you. Just be gentle. There's no reason to be rough with it. And now you can see there you've got these together. And then you want to pull these tight and keep this nice and firm, so that way the other end stays where you want it. Now take the wood duck and turn it and pull it tight, so that way it thins out. See how that's thinning out? Right here they're all compressing down. And then same thing with the teal. It'll all compress down together, creating a kind of curve right here. And that's how you can lay that down onto the hook, onto the wing. Lay that down there. Hold it with your pointer or your left hand, or your right if you're left-handed. And then just do one loop on that, and then a second. The far side, you need a second loop to hold it in place, otherwise it'll come off. And then this side's going to be a little bit more difficult. This side's always more difficult. This hackle right here always plays a part. Make sure your wing is set correctly and that you're not tying in over hackle. And that hackle will mess you right up. It creates a lump that will actually push your sides and everything outward. There we go. That's more like it. I think those are a bit longer. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to shorten that up a little. That's no good. What you got to do is make sure these are at their thinnest point here. Create this little bend here and lay them on. I don't know about that one. This far side is always the tricky one. There we go. And just use your tweezers to get it just about off over that hackle. There we go. Did this side hold? Yes. Now it's too short. Oh. I use my fingers to pull it. Okay, there we go. Now we have some alignment issues with some other things, so we'll just have to get some things set back into place. That's good over here. Okay. Now I move on to the bronze mallard roof. Hopefully these mallard feathers I've chosen are long enough. Oh yeah. Well, we're about to find out. So just like you did with your sides, you're going to take the bronze mallard and right down where all this fluff is, you can get rid of it. You can clip it away, you can cut it away, whatever you'd like to do. And then strip away down here. This other stuff on the other side, the shorter material, you're not going to use that very much. Now when you get up into the feather, you can decide how big of a roof do you want. From what I'm seeing, this is going to be close. I think I might need larger bronze mallard feathers. So the choice of your feather is rather important. Just like any of your other feathers in your fly, if your bronze mallard feather is not the proper length, the proper color for the fly, there's a lot of different variables. Alright, and that'll be that side. And then that'll be the opposite. Alright, so these, as I said, we're I'm going to cut away some of these. So we'll get down into here where it's a bit shorter. We're probably not going to use that. I'll save that and use that on smaller flies. I'll be doing some smaller Irish style flies later in the year. I'm still kind of learning the ropes on those, so I'd rather know what I'm doing before I bring it up to you guys. But this has a nice color, the tips are nice and even. So we'll cut away, just like we did on the other side, or just like we did with the wood duck and the teal. We'll just cut away a slip. Keep the racket still attached, and that's for the far side, so we'll keep that, set that aside. And now for this side, I just want to get this down a little lower, if I can. Now for the roof, you can do these both at the same time. And to do that, hang on, I'm going to use a different feather for the near side. I didn't like that one. Yep, I'm being quite picky about it. Nothing wrong with that though, I suppose. I think this will work better. Apologize for the wait. Sometimes it's how it goes though. We're just not happy with it, we're just not happy with it. Alright, so for the near side, we've got our roof here. And as you can see, we want it to sit about like that. So we can do it one at a time. We can do it both at the same time. Both at the same time is not quite my strong suit, but I'm going to give it a go for you guys. I'm going just a little bit thinner on these. Alright, so I'm actually going to cut away most of what's up front here. I don't recommend doing them all at once without very sharp scissors. Typically I recommend you do it a little at a time. Just take a little chunk at a time. By getting this out of the way, it'll make it much easier for you to tie things in, like your roof and your topping. You can get all that snipped. You can clean up the rest later. It's just getting most of that out of the way. Okay, so back to the roof. To do them both at the same time, you'll line them up with the narrow parts together. And then you're going to lay them over it Ooh, they reversed. And lay it over the front. And then just pinch them together like that. And once you pinch them like that, make a loose wrap, and then another, and kind of align them if you need to. There you go. Other side's on there pretty good as well. They both kind of went on nice and easy. And you can bring your wood duck and your teal down a little bit into sight more. And then you can do a drop of Sally Hansen's. To do them one at a time, you would typically tie on the front side. Let's go ahead and do that for you. Since we're here, let's do it. To do it one at a time, though, is actually going to use more thread wraps. So to keep your head down a little bit, I recommend doing it as few thread wraps as possible. So what you can do is put your rear one on first, do a thread wrap, position it. Second, you're going to need a second wrap for that far side. But if you're going to do the front side, you can use the front side as your second wrap. So right now it's looped on there, and if you go back, that's going to loosen that up, and this will fall right out. We don't need that. So you got to pay attention to that. Let's get that back on there. Now look at the angle that it's at when I've got it on there. You want that mallard to ride right along the roof and use that curve when you tie it in. Now remember, we've only got that half a wrap on there right now. So, get the other one ready, near side. And then when you rotate your vise, you're going to have to pinch that other side with your finger. Line this one up on here. And then make your second wrap. And then you can make your adjustments to both your roofs and your sides and all of that. The other way you can do it is tying on the near side first. So we'll take your near side one, take the rackus, and bend the feather as much as you can. Give it a nice curved shape, almost like a boomerang shape if you can. And nice and curved. Lay it right up on there to match. That matches the curve of the wing on the fly. And do one wrap. Now you'll take your opposite side, hold that on there, make sure that's got that same curve of the wing. Lay it on there. Do one wrap, couple slight adjustments. And then remember, you have to do a second wrap to tighten that down. And you'll have your roof on that way. I'm going to go back to the first method and do it both at the same time, as that had the least amount of thread wraps. And I really like the way that looked. Hopefully these are still wanting to cooperate with me, and I'm willing to do that. So again, we'll hold them up there, like, hold them together, the narrow sides touching, side by side. Make sure you've lined up these tips so they're the same length. Lay them over the top of the fly. Oh no. And then pinch down, pinching them on both sides of the fly, and then make your 2 wraps. That way it leaves a bit of a cleaner look to it, I think. This far side didn't take very good. That's better. And now we just go back and make our adjustments. I'm going to whip that hackle and get it out of the way.